Cypress Financial Group presents the Retirement Roundtable podcast with John Scallan. Get more at cypressfinancial.net. Now, let's get to the show.
John, before we get going here this weekend, hope you're doing well. And I'd like to say congratulations and welcome to all the gnats and mosquitoes and no-see-ums because they have officially made their appearance this summer. John, I am getting eaten alive right now.
Mark, I don't really feel sorry for you in Louisiana. Mosquitoes they're like small birds. They're that big. We could probably hunt them, with a shotgun and not get too much pushback from the neighbors.
Yeah, I think John graduated with about 4 mosquitoes in his class one year. They were, God, man, summertime is here. We're going to get to that and the potentials of a midsummer review coming up in just a couple of minutes. But John, let's get to it because often here on the Retirement Roundtable, we talk about the benefits of an IRA to a Roth conversion. So what if you do one now and Congress changes the rules? I want you to hear this clip from Barron's Roundtable, and they talk about that.
What if you're tinfoil hat level paranoid about government changing the deal? Right now they say, pay us now on the Roth, later on it'll be tax-free. But maybe 25 years down the road they say, hey, wait a second, this fat cat dodged some taxes. We got to get some extra money from him on the way out.
If they do get rid of the Roth, which, is bandied about as a thing they might do, I doubt they're going to double dip on current Roth holders. They're not going to say, you paid your taxes on the way in, now you're going to have to also pay your taxes on the way out. They're going to, say no more new Roths.
Well, what they might do is raise taxes, in which case you'll be glad you have a Roth.
That is more likely.
Everybody talking about a Roth right there. What say you, John Scallan? Do you think the Roth conversion is in jeopardy? If so, is now the time to give it a little more consideration?
Mark, the Barron's discussion hits on one of the biggest fears that I hear in my office, and it's, what if I pay taxes now and the government changes the deal later? Mm-hmm. Here's the reality. Congress could eliminate future Roth conversions, but they're not going to, again, double tax existing Roth holders. This would, first of all, be political suicide. And the second thought is the real jeopardy isn't your existing Roths. It's missing the opportunity while this window is open. With $33 trillion in national debt, tax rates have nowhere to go but up. Today's 22% tax bracket could look like a bargain in 5 years or so.
So you believe the hype, the urgency, it's real?
Oh, absolutely. I tell clients, if you're going to do conversions, don't wait. The political winds are shifting. We're helping clients lock in today's, let's call it a discount tax rates before Congress potentially slams the door. Here's a quick action step. If you're in the 12% or the 22% bracket, calculate what a $25,000 Roth conversion would cost in taxes. This might be the cheapest tax you'll ever pay on that money.
John, let's break it down into its most simplistic form. A Roth conversion is basically a way to generate income in retirement where you pay the taxes up front as opposed to paying the taxes when you pull the money out.
That is 100% accurate. And Mark, we are always beating the drum on this show about the value of a plan. Mm-hmm. It's part of a plan. Is it everything? Is it the one size fits all? No, but well thought out, discussed, and planned for. It's part of an overall plan that can really reap benefits for you and your family in the years to come.
Let's talk a little bit about Social Security because we're always talking about income in retirement. And regarding Social Security, John, this fiscal year, over 276,000 more adults have filed for Social Security benefits. That's a 13% increase over this time last year. Many are taking that at 62 due to the fear that the program won't be around for much longer. So, John, what are we missing here? How do we optimize our benefits considering all the conversations about what could happen with Social Security?
Mark, there are some situations where it makes sense to pull early. There are people who, quite frankly, just need the money. There are people who may have a health situation that it really makes sense for them to make a decision on the early lever for Social Security. But, notwithstanding those situations, this really breaks my heart because fear Fear is driving terrible financial decisions. Taking Social Security at 62 instead of full retirement age permanently reduces benefits by a whopping 25 to 30%. On a $2,000 monthly benefit, that's $500 to $600 less every month for the rest of your life. In my opinion, Social Security isn't going anywhere. It might be tweaked, benefits might be reduced slightly, but it's not disappearing. The trust fund issue affects benefits starting in 2034, and even then, we're talking about, in a worst case scenario, a potential reduction of 20%, not elimination of the benefit entirely.
So there's glass half full, glass half empty with that, because 2034, it'll be here before we know it. But A, we still have time to put our Social Security strategy together. B, my question is, what is that better strategy?
Mark, patience pays huge dividends when you're talking about Social Security. Every year you delay past full retirement age, FRA, until age 70, benefits increase by 8%. That's guaranteed 8% returns in today's market. I had a client from the North Shore who wanted to claim at 62 out of fear. They talked about what their parents said and their grandparents said. What we did, we showed this couple that by waiting until 70, this would give them an additional, listen to this number, $1,200 more per month for life. If you do the math, that's $345,000 more over 24 years of retirement. Here's what I would encourage every listener, every one of our clients to do. Get your Social Security statement at ssa.gov and see your projected benefits at different claiming ages. Don't let fear cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lifetime benefits. And again, if you will grab those statements, give us a call, come to our office, just reach out to us. We will run what we call the Social Security Optimizer. It will show you at least a dozen different claiming strategy. One spouse filing early, the other pulling later, both pulling at FRA, both pulling at 70. What are the survivor benefits for the surviving spouse? This information is paramount when you're planning your retirement. And again, the right decision could give you and your family hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional income all throughout your retirement years.
And John, by your recommendation, I did exactly that a couple of months ago. Went to ssa.gov, went to look at it, and I've still got about a good 20 years of my working life ahead of me.
You are not that young. No way. No way.
I know, right? This bald spot makes me feel a lot. I wake up every morning, I question my own age. There's a lot of noises coming out of this body. But it did make me realize, John, yes, I've still got a lot of work ahead of me, but it kind of gave me a little bit of a snapshot of where I stand and where I could be in the next 15, 20 years. So it was interesting. So again, ssa.gov to see where you stand with your Social Security. And you recommend that people do that before coming to see you.
100%. If we have that statement and we know what that FRA benefit, for most of us who have not pulled yet, FRA, full retirement age, again, for most of us, it's going to be age 67. We talked about the potential of this being tweaked, and if history repeats itself, listen, the government may push out full retirement age, a little bit longer, or there may be a reduction in benefits, but again, there is, in my mind, there is no way this benefit is going to be eliminated. We've worked too hard for it. We've paid into it for too long. And again, political suicide for any one of our legislators who are in office when that potentiality could happen.
Is this a good time of the year to really take advantage of a mid-year portfolio review, or do you normally reserve those for the end of the year?
Mark, truthfully, we are rebalancing portfolios and having discussions monthly. Many of our clients, most of our clients are on a quarterly review or semi-annual, annual, depends on the client. Some of our clients are like, John, we really like you a lot. You've done great work for us, but I don't want to hear from you every quarter. So Let's just call it a mid-year review. Here's what that looks like and what it involves. Step one, portfolio rebalancing. Maybe the stocks have grown too much and you need to trim back your target allocation. If stocks get hot and someone's in a 60-40 portfolio very, very quickly, that 60% in stock can get to 70% and even higher. We want to make sure that we stay within your target risk allocation. There's also tax loss harvesting if anything's down, contribution adjustments if your income has changed, and other really important things that we'll be talking about, not only mid-year, end of the year, but throughout the year as well.
Educate me real quick, John. We hear that phrase tax loss harvesting a lot. Can you give me like the idiot's guide to tax loss harvesting? Like, what does that mean for the adult that's 50, 55 years old, just getting a better strategy on their taxes?
Well, remember, tax loss harvesting applies to non-qualified accounts. Remember, if it's inside an IRA or a 401k or a 403b, tax loss harvesting is really not applicable. It's going to apply to after-tax accounts where if you take a loss in your portfolio, again, those losses can be converted to tax write-off depending on how it's handled. I would probably need about another 30 minutes to go down the rabbit hole. But again, on non-qualified after-tax accounts, this is a huge strategy that must be dealt with, again, constantly throughout the year. Again, contribution to these non-qualified accounts, this is where the tax loss strategies really come into play.
We say it every weekend. If you heard something you need some clarity on, reach out to John to get the answer. That's what I did right there. Let's continue this conversation about the importance of getting that mid-year review, not just the end of the year. What else should we be specifically looking for in these portfolio reviews, John?
Pull your latest statement and check if your portfolio allocation matches your target. If stocks have grown from 60 to 75, again, definitely time to rebalance. Always make sure your advisor is calling you back in a timely fashion. Always make sure that you understand exactly what your portfolio is built of. We've had clients come in here and say, hey, just do it for me and let me know how it goes. We really don't like that strategy. We want people to be involved. We want them to be engaged. Quite often in these mid-year or quarterly reviews, we are educating our clients about the nuts and bolts of how this works, what the cash bucket is about, what the fixed income bucket is about, how does your annuity portfolio correlate with what is in your investment account. So all of these things are extremely important that we really like to get our clients engaged in to really have them take ownership of what we're building for their future.
John, multiple locations of Cypress Financial. Where can we find you?
Causeway Boulevard in the heart of Metairie on the South Shore, right over the bridge on the north side, Florida Street. It's our most recent office that we've opened up. We're here to serve you regardless of where you are in this great state of Louisiana. Again, 504-732-1001. It would truly be an honor and a privilege to have a conversation, to meet you in person. We're here to help regardless of what your issue may or may not be.
Of course, you can meet the team, get more information, schedule that consultation from the homepage, cypressfinancial.net. Again, CYPRESS, cypressfinancial.net. John, about a year ago, bought some concert tickets. Went to go see Brooks and Dunn, one of my all-time favorite bands, okay?
Great group.
They still got it. If you're a country music fan, old school country music, they still have it. So, of course, you've got the ticket fee. Well, then you had the venue fee. Well, then you had the service charge. Then you had taxes. Then on top of all that, John, because I'm an old man, I like to sit on the aisle. There is an additional fee, John, if you want to sit on the aisle. So the final price of these tickets was about double what it was initially on the sticker. A little bit of sticker shock on there.
Yeah, they are getting a little out of hand with these costs.
Just these fees. But I'll give Ticketmaster credit. because now, at least when you go to buy the tickets, they will show you all the fees before you hit purchase. So it doesn't help. Like, it's still going to cost you an arm and a leg to go see your favorite act out there, but at least you know how much you're going to pay, and it eliminates some of that sticker shock. But that's kind of like what you do when you're looking at portfolios, that financial GPS. You take a deep dive into a portfolio to see how much people are paying in fees that they may not even realize that they have.
Mark, that's well said. You know, the difference in concert tickets, that's they are based on one-time purchases. Investment fees compounded against you for decades. Man, that's a whole nother story. Yeah. A 1% fee difference, 1% over 30 years on a $300,000 portfolio can cost you up to $175,000 in lost returns. That's not a typo here. Fees are wealth destroyers when compounded over time.
Is it hard to find some of these hidden fees, John?
It's really not, Mark. Again, when you get your statement, especially those 401ks, they can be a little bit tricky. Look for the expense ratio on every fund in your 401k. Usually you have to go online to find that. It's usually, on many of these, they're not disclosed on the statement itself. Yeah. And target date funds. Gosh, there's so many target date funds out there. They often layer fees. The underlying funds have expenses plus the target date, what's called a wrapper, adds even more. Some 401ks also charge administration fees on top of investment expenses. Again, 401ks have been an incredible blessing to the working men and women of our great nation. But again, you have to be careful. Dig deep. The numbers never lie. What we do at Cypress Financial, it's an investment x-ray for clients. Often finding they're paying 1.5% to 2% annually when they can get similar investments for 0.3 or 0.5 point on a $500,000 portfolio. Again, that's $5,000 to $7,000 yearly in unnecessary fees. Take this action step. Again, if you're wondering about your 401k, request a fee disclosure statement from your 401k provider. You're not asking for anything that they are not required to provide. Add up all the fees you're paying annually. If it's over 1%, you're likely overpaying, and you should explore alternatives.
Investment advisory services offered through Cypress Financial Group, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Cypress Financial Group, John Scallan, Louisiana Insurance License Number 1064997. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Cypress Financial Group. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.